Today I'm going to show you how I turned some bed slats, which I literally picked up off the street, into a plant bench. Using pliers, handsaw, an electric drill, a drill bit, and a matching wooden dowel, and some wood glue. Because this project relies on stacking pieces together with wood glue, you want to make sure the bed slats you have are as flat as possible. These are far too warped and not the one I used. But here you ask, what if I have bed slats that are warped? I have no idea. Let me know in a comment down below if your bed slats are straight or warped, and maybe I will do something with these warped ones, literally just sitting in the cupboard, not doing anything. Let's get right into it. Using some pliers, you're going to remove the straps from the bed slats. These should just be held together by staples, so it should be fairly easy to remove. I don't have any record of the bed slats before I cut them up, but I think there are about 12 pieces. To determine the dimension of the bench, I started from the bench top. In our case, it had to be very narrow, only 4 bed slats wide. And each leg piece was the same width as the bench top. You'll see why when I come to building the bench top. The rest were divvied up for the leg pieces. Once you've decided on the size of your bench, you want to cut your pieces. Here are the dimensions to my bench. You can use a power saw if you have access to one, but I just used a handsaw. The only difference is the handsaw takes a bit longer. For leg pieces, you want to drill a hole in the center so then a wooden dowel can go through. So just find a drill bit that works with your corresponding wooden dowels. So step 3 is where you want to build your bench top. The only thing that's holding the bench top together is the top of the leg piece. You want to make sure you apply plenty of glue and have a good contact surface. A good wood glue bond is stronger than wood itself. And with wood glue, I always let it dry for 24 hours before I move any of the pieces. The design of the legs are basically just stacks of wood. But when it came to how do we stack them, Spencer wanted straight and I wanted spiral. So we did both. Because while the main purpose of this bench is to be decorative, aesthetics is everything. The key to getting those clean shapes for the legs is the wooden dowel. I use a wooden dowel through the center to help with alignment. Basically you can just stack all the pieces in and then just like fan it out, just like cards, and it gets a really nice shape. I only did 180 degrees because I still want a good overlapping of the pieces, otherwise it won't be stable. For this I did a dry run first. This is so that I can really dial in how it looks and make any changes as I go. Once I'm happy with the shape, I'm marking with a pencil where one piece overlaps on the other. This is how I know how to put them back together again when I come to gluing them. As you're taking these apart, you want to make sure, take a piece off the top and then just lay it down 180 degrees in the same direction facing you. So they go like this. So then when you put it back together, it's just very easy and intuitive to do. I mean, even with this method, I still got a little bit confused as I was doing it. Wood glue is the only thing holding this bench together, so you want to make sure you're very generous. I even applied the glue around the wooden dowel in the hole. I don't know if that does anything, but it just felt right to do. I made sure I pressed down on each piece as I stacked them on top because I really want to get a good bond and contact surface between each piece. Luckily the pieces have quite a snug fit with the wooden dowel, so as I pressed down, the dowel is actually holding them in place. So this spiral design is really versatile because depending on how high my leg was going to be, it's going to look completely different. I just eyeballed fanning out the pieces in the spiral shape. The only condition I had was the top and the bottom piece has to be perpendicular to the lengthwise of the bench. Otherwise everything in between, it was just whatever looked good to me. So just have fun with it. So this glue actually sets quite fast, but I say you still have about 15 minutes to make any adjustments. Like I said before, the wooden dowel is actually holding down the pieces really well in place. But as with good practice, always either weigh down or clamp down your pieces when the glue is drying. So here I'm stacking the other leg, which is the straight one. It is exactly the same process as before, only this time I didn't do a dry run, went straight into gluing. The only thing I want to point out is I used 2 pieces of wood and just sandwiched them as they went to make sure they were leveled. So as I do this, I thought I'd address a question that I've had a few times on Instagram when I post about this project, which is, can you take the same design and use it for, say, a coffee table, actual table, or a desk? The short answer is, I don't see why not. However, I would say keep one thing in mind if you want to do this, and that is to choose planed timber, meaning the surfaces of the wood has been flattened. This is because even if your pieces are just slightly not flat, when you come to stacking your leg pieces, you're going to introduce vertical movement when weight is added on top. And secondly, when it comes to the top, with plain timber you can then glue them side by side to form one big bench, table, desktop. This means the pieces will move separately from each other when weight is added on top. And all in all, it just makes cleaning much easier. And the last thing is just to tidy this bench up by sawing off the excess wooden dowel from the top or bottom. I like how the wooden dowel completely fills the hole and gives it a really finished look. This wasn't an issue for us, but if you find that the bottom becomes sharp, just use sandpaper to smooth it out. It's actually been 8 months now since I built this bench. It's serving its purpose as a plant bench, but just a bit hidden away. So it's nice to bring it out and look at it every once in a while. This was my first woodworking project, if you can call it that. Super beginner friendly. It was the first time I used a handsaw and a power tool. In this case, it was an electric drill. And the best thing is, the material was free and reduces waste going to a landfill. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, please comment down below and like the video. See you next time.